Democrat politicians sure do seem to hate the people they pretend to defend. And it's not that hard to find examples of it. One is super quick. This guy is the chair of the Texas House Democrats. And man, he's really in it to protect the government schools and kids' rights to go to government schools. And dang it, he sure hates those private schools.
How do we tell people we're going to take your money and give it to rich people so they can send their kids to private school, so they don't have to have their kids with your kids?
Well, good question. Why did you do that? Why did you send your kids to private school? I mean, this is almost expected. When you see a liberal trashing private schools as a choice, it's almost, you can almost guarantee they sent their kids to private schools. And the taking money from people is so disingenuous. It's so dishonest. What we're talking about is freeing up the monies that would go to the government schools exclusively and giving it to the parents who actually had the money to begin with. It's actually their tax dollars taken from them, and they're getting it back, but not before pensions and paychecks and God knows what else has been sucked out by government. It's disingenuous, and it communicates a hatred because you're simply standing there in front of people and blatantly lying to them, failing to mention that you did the same thing. But that's one example. We know Democrats are in it for the working people, not for the rich. Say, for instance, someone who works at a mall, like as a security guard. The whole rent-a-mall thing or rent-a-cop thing, that's kind of a put-down of a important job and an impossible job in the leftist cities where, of course, it's legal to shoplift as long as it's under $999. But you would think as well that in the city of Washington, D.C., it's probably not easy to live on the wage that you would get as a security guard. So the Democrats would certainly be there to defend such a security guard, given the economic disadvantage that person would be at in a city where everyone else is living on grift. I'll show you an example of this deep love they have for working people here in just a second, but I did mention money, and I will mention this. The war, we're watching it. We're watching judges come along and tell President Trump, you don't get to cut budgets. You don't get to change programs. You don't get to right-size government. Now, maybe President Trump's going to win that battle. I think he will. I think even the John Roberts Supreme Court is going to side with the president on this. After all, it's the executive branch. But what if he doesn't? What if the Supreme Court says, no, that's right, a Rhode Island judge decides how the executive branch spends money? That's risky. Your retirement right now is hanging between the balance of a new right-sized American economy with energy at the center of it and a Rhode Island judge running things. If you are not actively managing your portfolio or it's not being actively managed, I fail to see how you get set up for risk management in this circumstance. My suggestion is to get with my friend Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer of Bulwark Capital Management. He will look at your retirement plans. He'll look at your financial perspective now, your job, your house, etc., all the details, and he'll tell you if you're set up to retire. He'll tell you if you're exposed to a lot of risk. He can even tell you if your account is actually being actively managed, which can reduce risk and volatility, and he can tell you if he thinks he can help you as a fiduciary, meaning he has to put your financial interests ahead of his own. And he'll do this no charge, no obligation, and how you like, on the phone, in person, on video. It's that easy. Here's how to get it done. Go to knowyourriskradio.com. Just enter your information. It's that simple. Knowyourriskradio.com. Bulwark Capital Management is an investment advisor representative of Trek Financial LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 25-103. Democrats love working people. They respect working people. They defend working people. Unless your job is to guard government buildings they want to get into.
Basically doing his job and denying them access. It is interesting that Fox News is the only one covering this live, and apparently this is what the Democrats want, right? They want to be on television. That's Maxine Waters complaining, Sandra, that they can't get in the building. And then you had other members of Congress saying that if you want to get in and fight for your children, you're not allowed. But we had some news this week that would make it sound like that's a little bit too late, guys.
They demanded to see the dude's ID. You have these Democrats screaming at him for his ID. These are the people who don't want IDs to vote. But they want to dox this guy? And they were screaming bloody murder at the man, a working man. Well, because he was doing his job to guard the building, taking orders. It's so easy to find these examples where Democrats just seem to hate the people they pretend that they're defending. Brandon Straka posted this. It's a video of liberals at a march saying that we should trust black women. Okay, let's trust black women. Well, except...
What does this sign mean to you?
You know, black women are probably the least respected in America. Their voices aren't heard. Their issues aren't paid attention to. Many white women look beyond their own personal interests, and they leave black women out of the conversation. And I think America needs to change about that.
What are we not trusting them to do right now?
How to care for our country, how to care for each other, how to stand up and fight for things that aren't right.
Millions of black women voted for Trump. Should we trust them?
I don't think that's true. Millions of black women voted for Trump?
Way too many. Way too many. It is.
Should we trust them?
I don't know.
Maybe not trust black women then.
That's not true. I do trust black women.
Who'd vote for Kamala Harris?
I think. He wants to know if I trust the black women who voted for Trump.
I think they voted against their own interests, so it's really
those poor
hard to
blacks?
put the idea of trust together with someone who is continuing to vote against themselves, right?
So poor
So it
blacks,
sounds like
need
they don't
her.
have very good judgment.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's not having good judgment. I don't think they necessarily connect the dots, and I do.
They're stupid.
No, they're not stupid, but I think it's.
No, I'm just asking because, but it is hard to trust people who are stupid and have bad judgment, right? And black women who vote for Trump are stupid and have bad judgment.
Oh, we did not say that. Nope.
I think they don't connect the dots, and so they're looking at only certain things and thinking that's important, and not connecting the dots.
It sounds like those black women need to be educated by white women like you.
Yeah, not.
True. Not.
They just need a good white woman to come in and tell them what's up.
You're putting words in our mouths again.
No, he's better explaining your position than you are. When you're sloganeer, when your thoughts are slogans, you don't have thoughts. When your thoughts are trust black women, you don't have thoughts. You have slogans. How about this? How about have a bedrock series of principles? How about compare all things against them? So like what? Oh, the Constitution, which recognizes we have rights that are unalienable because God created us. In other words, the Constitution has a bedrock, the bedrock of the Word of God. Doesn't make us a Christian nationalist nation. It simply says we've got a bedrock. Maybe take God's wisdom above your own. Maybe then you won't fall for sloganeering, because sloganeering is the very opposite of thinking.